where did this crazy idea of using kids as blackmail for intelligence and for people in high power, political power, where did this start? And where did this all come from? Is there some place that we know in history that this sort of practice originated?
I mean, political blackmail, honey traps, are as old as politics itself. I'll give you an example. Alexander Hamilton was having an affair with a 23-year-old, and her husband was blackmailing him. And now we think of Alexander Hamilton as this hero, but yeah, he was getting blackmailed. And then there was this muckraking journalist who found out about Alexander Hamilton having an affair with this 23-year-old and getting blackmailed by her husband. And he outed him and wrote about it. And it severely tainted Alexander Hamilton. Mm-hmm. And Thomas Jefferson and Hamilton really disliked each other. So the muckraking journalist felt that he would surely get an appointment in Jefferson's administration because he outed Alexander Hamilton for having this affair. But when Jefferson became president, he did not give this muckraker an appointment. So the muckraker published an article about Jefferson having sex with one of his slaves, Sally Hemings. And actually DNA has shown that Jefferson did in fact have foster a number of children with Sally Hemings.
Jesus Christ, man.
So it goes, I mean, and we're just talking the U.S. now, the beginning of the U.S., but it goes back very far.
Oh, yeah.
And
human trafficking was big time in ancient Rome and ancient Greece.
Well, I mean, Tiberius was, and I don't know but I have read accounts of this, that Tiberius, the Roman emperor, would like to kill little boys and throw them off a cliff.
Like to kill them and throw them off a cliff.
Yeah. So I don't know. Some people have said it's true. Some people have said it's not true. But yeah, I mean, these type of pathologies are as old as humans themselves. Mm-hmm. And it's unfortunate. But now it's a different kind of a game. And I'll give you an example of two politicians that I know that have been compromised. One was a senator and one was in the House of Representatives.
Mm-hmm. Currently or no?
No, they got booted up. Larry Craig was a Republican from Idaho. And he was a family values guy, very conservative. Actually, I think that he might have had the worst record of voting against gay rights of any person in the Senate. And he had been in Washington, D.C. for 25 years. And part of it as in the House of Representatives, but then he ultimately became a senator. Mm-hmm. And I wrote a book called Confessions of a D.C. Madam, The Politics of Sex, Lies, and Blackmail, and about a guy running a gay escort service that was giving escorts to CIA assets to compromise politicians. Mm-hmm. Well, Craig was getting escorts from this guy. And there was a documentary.
From who?
From Henry Vincent, the guy who I wrote the book with. And Craig was getting escorts from Henry Vincent, but there was a documentary called Outraged by Kirby Dick about how really conservative, closeted guys vote against gay rights. And he found other guys that Craig was giving money to for male escorts.
Male escorts.
Yeah.
That's so funny. That's so true.
So here's what happened to Craig. So here's a guy that's been in Washington, D.C. for 25 years, and he's getting escorts from a guy that I wrote the book with, and he's getting escorts from other people. And what he got busted in Minneapolis. There's an international airport in Minneapolis. I'm from Minneapolis, and he was. I guess there's like this gay nomenclature where someone hits her foot. If they're sitting on the commode and they hit their foot on the ground, and then that signals to the other guy that they're hot, that he's hot to trot. So that's what happened with Larry Craig. He got busted in a bathroom in the Minneapolis airport trying to pick up a Vice Squad cop.
Wow. That's fucking crazy. There's that famous Joe Rogan joke where he says there's only two people who hate gays. Morons and guys who secretly love dick but won't admit it.
Well, here's the thing with I go to Minneapolis about once a year. I mean, that's where I'm from. And I was sitting on the commode once, and some guy was in the booth next to me slapping his foot. And I thought he had a neurological disorder. I'm just really glad I didn't say, hey, could I help you? Do you need some help?
Oh, God.
And let's talk about Dennis Hastert. Okay, so he was the Speaker of the House.
Okay.
Constitutionally, third most powerful man in the country. He had been boys going.
What year?
He was the Speaker of the House from 1999 to 2006, but he'd been in the House for quite some time. He was a strong-arm guy. He really strong-armed people into voting the way that he felt like they should vote. Now, he had been a wrestling coach in high school, and he started kids back then, like 40 years earlier. And the FBI knew what he was up to because there was a FBI whistleblower that said that they knew about Dennis Hastert's shadow life. So when he was the Speaker of the House, he was engaged in this and nothing happened to him. But after he got out, one of his victims started blackmailing him. And he ultimately started taking money out of his bank account under false pretenses and giving it to this blackmail victim, or this victim of his who was blackmailing him. But the FBI went after Hastert instead of this kid or this victim, which is kind of interesting because the FBI could have just stopped it right there and said, you know, if you blackmail Dennis Hastert, we're going to put you away forever. But they went after Hastert instead. And I've always wondered, so I think using the yacht analogy, what happened to Hastert? Why did he decide to get off the yacht?
Right.
I don't know. I think he got too greedy. He was making millions of dollars. And he had this consulting business and he was making millions of dollars. And I think that some powerful people wanted a cut. And he just said, no, I'm Dennis Hastert. Go to hell. And that's what happened to Dennis Hastert.
Wow. Serial child. Federal judge imposed a sentence of 15 months in prison, 2 years supervised release. That's it?
15 months. Holy shit.
15 months and $250,000 fine.
And I've tried to get a hold of him. I've got his cell phone number, but he doesn't really want to talk to me.
Yeah, no shit.